I used to pity parents whose child had a disability. I would see them in the restaurant, a movie theater, or other public outing and think to myself, thank God that's not my child. I used to say the word retard a lot, as in, I'm so retarded. Stop being retarded. The list goes on. I would think to myself, God, how awful for them. That parent whose child is in a wheelchair or had a feeding or breathing tube, wondering what made them decide to let that child live. I would see a child having a temper tantrum in a grocery store and whisper to my husband, why don't they just smack that kid? I had my first perfect child and became the paragon on how to be a working mom. I knew the answers of putting a baby to sleep exactly at 7 p.m., and they stayed there. I had a schedule. I was the model working mom, the one you read about in magazines, the one who does it all, showers daily, and keeps a clean house. Abby was well-behaved, well-traveled, and the child you could take to any event. I could leave her, to this day, with anyone for any amount of time. The girl who sits quietly in restaurants, does her schoolwork, and reinforced my thoughts that those other children were just a result of poor parenting. 5 years later, my second daughter was born. At just 4 days old, I found myself in the NICU, as I begged the doctors to do anything to save her life. I didn't question brain function. I didn't wonder if we were taking extreme measures. I saw my baby and feared she wouldn't come home. I bargained with God. I offered my soul. I told him I could handle a retarded child. Just please, God, let her live. We came home with a beautiful little girl, one who vomited every 20 minutes on schedule, one who would only sleep if she was snuggled on your chest and cried a lot. If she was awake, she was crying unless she was being held. So I held her. Bridget wasn't achieving her milestones, and the doctor ordered testing of her brain. We already knew she was different, that she wasn't the perfect child you dream of. They performed genetic testing and told us she had a genetic mutation that had never been discovered. The testing revealed a slow brain pattern. I asked, is my daughter retarded? And was told, we don't use that word anymore, but yeah. The best advice I received that day was to not put limits on her. Don't limit her with labels or assume she would not achieve greatness. That perfection has a new meaning. One of the greatest things that Bridget has achieved is changing the worldview most of us have. We have more empathy for that mother in the grocery store. We have a smile for that parent who is pushing a child in a wheelchair. And we buy a glass of wine for that mother in the restaurant whose child is misbehaving. We look at our disabled child and think, thank God, this is our child. We have banned the R word in our house and in our lives. Bridget has just not changed the life of her parent, but her community. She's the mayor of her school, she is hugged in the grocery store, and she has allowed friends to be comfortable asking questions, hard and difficult questions. Just 6 years ago, I myself would have been embarrassed to ask. When I was told my daughter was developmentally disabled, the world I knew was destroyed and recreated. I resolved that this would not change the way I would nurture my daughter, that she would be provided the same experiences and opportunities as her sister. By not placing limits, Bridget has created an advocate in her sister. She has given an 11-year-old a purpose and drive, one who includes her sister in everything, because in Abby's words, it's what sisters do. I have grown in so many ways since that first day in the NICU. I will educate when someone says the word retarded. I have become knowledgeable in any treatment, medication, doctor, therapy that you need to question on. It was through motherhood, Bridget's motherhood, that I learned the value of friendship and which of those friends to leave behind. Being Bridget's mother has allowed me to find my voice. We have created a village of support that includes therapists, friends, and families who understand that a life with a child who has special needs is still a fantastic life. A life where the smallest accomplishments are celebrated. A life where we cry and laugh with equal measure. I am no longer that perfect model of the working mother who can do it all. Motherhood trumps meetings. I frequently go a day without a shower, happy that I managed to brush my teeth. My house is rarely clean, but it's full of life. 6 years ago, I bargained with God to let my daughter live. It took being her mom to show me what living was. Thank you.